Okay, this is the actual first time this has ran in quite some time. Figured I'd give it a quick cold start. It actually fired right up as soon as I put some gas in it. As you can see, I'm running it off of two jumper packs. That one's starting it. This one is running the carburetor solenoid. Yes, it still has a carburetor solenoid. And no, I'm not removing it. I'm one of those types. I don't remove them, no matter what. So anyways, figured I'd give it a quick cold start, so make sure it still runs, make sure there's no issues. The oil was still very clean. It's been sitting underneath that bucket, the engine, for quite some time. Fortunately, the paint has flaked off the gas tank, so that's going to have to get taken care of. I think this gas tank's leaking as well, so I do got to pressure test it and either try and find a new one or try and reseal this one. I had a new one coming on a parts tractor, but the guy flaked out at the last minute, so I didn't end up getting the parts tractors. There was a few of them. Basically, it was going to be I was going to fix up one and use the other two for parts. It has some payment for another machine I had, but he ended up flaking out at the last minute, and I didn't get it, unfortunately. I definitely could have used the fuel tank. But as you heard, also the drive is running on it. It's in neutral. Good thing it does have neutral. The brakes obviously work as well. The clutch works. What it needs to finish: wiring. That's basically what it's sitting at right now. Is the entire machine needs to be wired. Also, I got to get the speedometer put in as well, and potentially try and hook up the tach. I have the relays to hook up the ignition, because this has an automotive style ignition where it does not have a ground inside the ignition switch. So I'm going to be doing the same thing as I did on the Kubota tractor on this to shut this off. So I have all those parts. I've had them for about 3 weeks or so now. 3, maybe 4 weeks or so now. And the weather's just starting to change now, but we're expected to get rain in the next few days. I also have a much more important project on the go that's more important than this. So unfortunately, this has just been getting pushed back constantly in favor of other projects. Paying projects take priority over my own projects. So after the wiring, I got to go through the front end. I got to get everything greased up and retightened, because whenever I was putting the engine in, the tie rod had to be removed, and it's just sitting in there. So that needs to get reconnected and done. I need to build or make up something to shield the air filter from the top, so when this is sitting out in the rain will come down the hood and it will go around the air filter. Just a piece of metal, bent metal, and attaches to the hood somehow. As for paint, it's going Hemi orange, Dukes of Hazzard style. I know there is another name for that color as well. I can't think of it offhand, but I call it Hemi orange. The actual cans say Hemi orange, so to me it's Hemi orange. But that's way down the road. That's not happening anytime soon. Sorry. I basically want to get this wired up so I can actually take it for a ride and make sure everything's working correctly. See if I have to change out the engine pulley. I don't think I'll have to do anything with the rear end pulley, since this does have a jack shaft. I'm basically at my absolute minimum on the back, without going super modified. So the back pulley cannot really get changed. The front can be. I also have to reinstall the front belt guards, which I do have. A lot of the parts are actually sitting in both footwells on this machine. So yeah, it's all sitting out, but there's nothing wrong with it. Also, I had a tarp for this, but again, the tarp had to be put on another machine that's a customer's machine. So yeah, this thing lost its tarp, but it will never lose its engine bucket. That will stay on it for as long as it needs it. So, but I'm happy to see it did fire right up. I should have got the cold start on video, but I showed it running in the short, and I showed it running in this video, so that's all that really matters. We'll fire it back up in a second for the end of this video, but I just want to show one more thing. This actually has first gen steering. But you see, it's 100% tight. It actually has some of the best first-gen steering I've ever seen, other than my Barn Find Craftsman. I do have a new steering wheel for this. I picked up a parts tractor in the winter. I think it was, I don't remember 100% when it was. It's on the channel, obviously. About 2 months ago. It has a really nice steering wheel, so that steering wheel will be going on here. But again, in the future, if I do need that steering wheel for another machine, or someone really needs to buy it, guess what? It's getting pulled back off of here, and probably that one will get put back on. But I don't really want to do it, but if I have to do it, that's just the name of the game. You keep your customers happy, and you keep machines that you are selling happy and looking the best. And yeah, yours might be bits of piles, but as long as they operate, that's all that matters. But as for this engine's probably not going anywhere. This engine's been modified to put it in here, so this engine's really not going anywhere. If anything, if something happens to this engine, I'll upgrade it to something a little bit bigger. But I'd like to stick with the Vanguard, since everything is currently set up to run Vanguard on this. That engine is 100% factory. There's no modifications done to that engine. I'm thinking with the gear ratio, it should have enough power. It is only a 12.5 horsepower though. So let's turn on the carb solenoid jumper pack. Make sure that wire's not pulling. It is. I had this in here, but it didn't want to. It really did not want to sit correctly. 1 second. Okay, that should work down there like that. It was arcing, and all the leaves around this machine are wet, so I'm not too worried about them. But brake, clutch on, and contact.